Good morning, everybody. Hope you all had a great Christmas. Of course, it is Matt Modi here with OddsJam. Let's bet some NBA player props. So I had a profitable day yesterday. Hopefully everybody watching this also had a profitable day yesterday. All of my bets I find using OddsJam, using the positive expected value page. When you're breezing through, scanning through OddsJam, the play that you're going to want to hit is a play that is bolded and has the little blue outline around it. That is the positive expected value play. Every every play that shows up here on the positive EV page is going to have some sort of edge over the sports book you're placing the bet with. For this bet that I'll get into, this Kevin Durant one, the bet that we are placing it at, the sports book that we are placing it at is BetMGM. So in this case, with the edge we have is over BetMGM. Sportsbooks inherently have the edge over sports bettors. They charge a vig, they charge a juice to odds, and that's how they get their edge, right? They basically price up the odds themselves. So if you're able to get the edge back over the sportsbooks, it's incredibly valuable in terms of making money betting on sports, gaining the edge back. And that's exactly what OddsJam does for you. It gives you the edge back over the sportsbooks. The way it works is OddsJam calculates the OddsJam perfect line in this column here. These odds are pulled from the sharpest sportsbooks in the world, the sportsbooks that are consistently the most accurate at pricing odds, that consistently do the best job at pricing odds, and basically use those sportsbooks to set the market. And then if you can get better odds on another sportsbook, that will be profitable in the long run. So in this case, the OddsJam perfect line calculates this Kevin Durant over 26.5 points to be at about minus 136, right? The sharpest sportsbooks in the world that have been back tested, proven to be the sharpest over the course of time, over a long sample size, large sample of bets, large sample of time. I think that this should be priced closer to minus 136. Well, BetMGM is giving this to us at minus 125. That's an 11-cent gap between the perfect line, where the sharpest sportsbooks in the world price a bet, the true line, and what we are getting it at BetMGM. So right off the bat, you know that that's a good play just because of the gap between these two numbers. And then what you want to do, if you click anywhere that, like if I hover my mouse over the play, right, you see how it gets highlighted blue, like a light blue. If you just click into that, it pulls up what you see here. And this is where every other sportsbook is pricing odds for this play. So every play that shows up on the positive EV page, of course, it's going to be mathematically profitable, right? It's going to be positive EV. The additional work that you want to do to make sure that you are placing the best of the best, you just want to click into a play and see where every other sportsbook is pricing this play at. You want to make sure that the bet that you are placing is an outlier to the rest of the betting sportsbooks. In this case, it's an absolute yes, it is. Minus 125 at BetMGM. The closest book is DraftKings, 25 cents below, right? If BetMGM didn't have odds, there wouldn't be a positive EV play on this because the closest sportsbook is a full 14 cents higher than the no vig line. Another sign that this is a really good bet. Then we have Pinnacle Sportsbook, which is the sharpest, pricing it at minus 167, 42 cents higher. We have Caesars pricing this at minus 179, 54 cents higher. And then remember, we're getting it all the way down at minus 125. Really, really good play here. Kevin Durant over 26.5 points as my first pick for today. Next up, the play that I really like is Lauri Markkanen under 31.5 points, rebounds, assists. This is another play that's good. The value in terms of the gap between the no vig odds and the OddsJam perfect, between the OddsJam perfect line and the bet that we are placing isn't as big as the gap of the first one. That doesn't mean that this is a bad play though. So the fact that this has a lower EV percent of expected value, which is calculated in this column here, it doesn't mean that it's a bad play. You still need to look into it and compare the odds that we are placing, in this case the minus 103, to the rest of the sports books, right? If it's an outlier, then it's still a good play. And we can ignore Underdog and Prize Picks because those are DFS companies. They have the same odds for everything, these DFS companies. But look at where every other sports book prices it. We see odds range from minus 113, which is the Pinnacle line, all the way up to minus 125, which is what DraftKings and BetMGM have. And then BetOnline, which is another very sharp sportsbook, has this at minus 120. So it's the same thing here. No other sportsbook, the closest sportsbook, I should say, has this a full 10 cents higher at minus 113. And then when you're betting on player props, there's a couple sportsbooks you want to look for as the sharpest. I already mentioned Pinnacle. This is one of them. This is the sharpest. You want to give this one the heaviest weight. Then you also want to look at BetOnline. BetOnline is another sharp sportsbook that we use kind of like to set the market. So if you're getting an outlier to these two, that's a good sign, Pinnacle and BetOnline. And then the third one, which isn't given as heavyweight, but is actually pretty sharp, is DraftKings. Now this isn't, and this is, specific to player props, So that's not me saying DraftKings, I will avoid placing bets on DraftKings because they're not always the sharpest, but I do like to give them a little bit of weight for player props specifically. So those are the three main ones, Pinnacle, BetOnline, and DraftKings. And that's going to be it in terms of plays for this video. So we got Kevin Durant over 26.5 points. We got Lauri Markkanen under 31.5 points, rebounds, assists in the NBA slate tonight. And that's it. So if you're tailing these, comment and let me know, and have a good one.